Good evening and welcome to What's Your Story? I'm your host, James Ransom Reed Jr. This is part 2 of my interview with Craig Black, my fellow DJ over at WRTC 89.3 FM, 860-297-2450. We're located on the beautiful campus of Trinity College. Now, if you missed part 1, you should watch that. But let's get right now to part 2 because Craig has some stories about all the famous people he met. I can't wait, can you? All right, Craig, let's go with the stories,
yes.
bro.
I think I was back in 1974. I might have been 14. Lived on Kent Street. A friend of mine, John Stewart, James Brown was in town. So we loved James Brown. We would play James Brown and shout out Maceo and Fred and all of that before we even knew who they were. But anyway, they were playing at the Bushnell. So my friend said, let's go see him. I'm like, man, my mother won't let me go. So anyway, I snuck out to go see James Brown. Snuck out to see James Brown and snuck in the Bushnell.
Oh,
so
man.
I did 2 naughties at the same time.
Yeah, there you go.
So we stand at the front of the stage, James, Maceo, Fred, Pee Wee, all Sweet Child Sherelle, everyone was there. After the show, we walking back home towards Kent Street from the Bushnell, singing James Brown. My friend John goes in his house. I go to my house and stick my key in the door. In those days, on the locks, they used to have a latch on the inside that if you stuck your key in, it wouldn't turn because the latch was on.
Yeah.
I guess it was a super security latch.
All right.
So I stuck my key in and it wouldn't work. So I said, So I had to ring the doorbell. So I rang the doorbell. My mother opened the door. She said, where you been? I said, I went to see James Brown. She slammed the door and said, go back and see him. Wham! I couldn't believe that. She eventually let me in, but yeah, that was my James Brown. But was it worth it? Yes.
That was Mr. Showman, wasn't he?
He was the man, yes.
While I'm thinking about it, maybe a bit before your time too, Jackie Wilson.
Oh, Jackie was phenomenal.
Tell people what you know about Jackie.
Well, I know about Jackie from just watching him on television and reading up on him, because I know he was a boxer, and he was his moves when he performed with some of his boxing moves.
Nobody did it like Jackie.
Right, he would move around and jump around, so he was phenomenal, and he could have been, if things wouldn't have happened in his career, he could have really been there. A lot of times, when these groups or singers sign to different labels, you really sign away a lot of stuff, and a lot of times it can hurt you than help you. Like a lot of people on TV say, I want to be that person. Maybe you should think twice about that. Yeah. Because on the other side of that, all you're seeing is what's on television. Yep. You're not seeing behind the scenes where they're really struggling. Yeah. Because they're used to having this, that, and third, and now some of that cuts out. Like I would say places like Motown, I hate to say it because I love Motown, but they ruined a lot of artists' life. With the contract, even though it was the only game in town, but a lot of people was hurt. But what did you do with the money that you was getting? Now, if you blew the little change that you claimed Berry Gordy was paying you, then that's on you. Because you were getting paid. Probably not enough, but that's what happened. So Jackie should have had a lot. Little Richard should have been there.
Fats Domino, Chuck Berry.
Exactly. I remember watching Little Richard on television, and one guy said, Little Richard, they say you worth $40 million. And he said, where is that? Yeah. I don't have it. If you give me 20 million of it, I'll be satisfied. So yeah, a lot of stuff happens in the business. So if anyone out there that's in the business that wants to be a singer, dancer, actor, whatever, read up on the business side of the business.
Or get an honest attorney.
Well, and those are hard to get.
And those are hard to find.
So you have to have an attorney to watch the attorney to watch the attorney.
Yeah, absolutely. So that, what we advise is don't sign anything.
Don't sign anything.
Don't sign anything.
Because you sign away your likeness, everything. Because I remember when I was with these cats, we had a label called Major League Records. After Peace Records, Van and I decided to split because we had LaToya G, as I said earlier. Yeah. And we had Peace Records, and he just wanted to work with her. And I'm like, we have a record label. We have to sign other artists. Yes. We can't just put all that eggs in one basket. He didn't want to. So I kind of fell off and let him ride with her. Yeah. And I hooked up with these cats at Major League Records, and we had a couple of rappers. But leaving Van and going to Major League was like going from a church to the nightclub.
Yeah.
So it was wild over there. But anyway, we had a rapper there, and we had contracts. He signed it. And one day we were in the studio, and he said that he was going to go and be a feature on someone else's song. And I had to explain to him, you can't do that unless you get written permission from the label. And we went back and forth, and I said, you need to read your contract.
Yeah.
So read your contract before you sign.
Oh, boy. Excuse me. And it's important to always remember that you are responsible for your best interests.
Exactly.
Always remember
Exactly.
that.
Exactly.
You are responsible for your best interests.
And you have to be responsible with your money.
With your money.
Don't be crazy.
Don't be a nut.
Don't.
Got any more stories for us?
Oh, sure. Before I went to Bethune-Cookman, I graduated from Weaver in 78. I ended up going to Bethune-Cookman in 1980.
Well, tell them what Bethune-Cookman is and where it is.
Bethune-Cookman is a HBCU,
Okay.
which is a historical black university down in Daytona Beach, Florida.
Okay.
My sister was going there, so my mother thought it'd be a great idea if I went there.
Yep.
I didn't think it was, but anyway, I graduated 78. 1980, my mother said, hey, you need to go to college. And I'm like, I don't want to go to college. I'm messing with Al Heyman. I'm doing these things.
Yeah, I'm good.
You know, so she said, no, you need to go. So me saying, no college is going to accept me. So I said, if you get me in, I'll go.
Okay. All right.
And lo and behold, she got me in. and at that point of going in, Larry Graham had just had out One in a Million. And records, I will always read credits on records, back of the records, who wrote it, who arranged it.
Yeah, I do.
who
Yes,
managed it.
I do. Yeah.
So I saw that Larry Graham had this management company called Tent Makers. You can Google them. Ron Liddell. So I called, information, man, the number of, Tent Makers, Los Angeles. Called Ron Liddell, like I did Al Heyman.
Yeah.
I was always the guy that would just, hey, whatever. I'm gonna call you. If you accept, you don't have to, but at least I tried. Anyway, I talked to Ron. We were just talking about music, because I introduced myself. And I said, wow, I would like to get involved. He said, well, Larry's going out on tour with Teddy Pendergrass in August. Can you tune a guitar? My mother brought me a guitar back in the day, but I just fiddled with it, didn't really know how to tune it. But I was going to learn how to tune it, so I told Ron, yeah, I can tune a guitar. Yeah. So he said, okay, August, you come out here and we'll be going out, whatever. So I'm excited. Told my mother, hey, listen, I might be going on the road with Larry Graham. He's going on the road with Teddy Pendergrass. My mother said, when? I said, August. She said, what? You're supposed to be going to Bethune-Cookman in August. I said, well, I can't go to Bethune-Cookman. She was like, oh, no, you can't go to California. So when I went to Bethune-Cookman, I was very, I rebelled against everything, because I went down there angry, and I didn't want to be there. And, but yeah, it was a nice campus, Mary McLeod Bethune.
Yes.
Well,
great leaders.
Educated. Yes.
Great leaders in the civil rights struggle.
Yes. It was a great school.
Yes,
great
absolutely.
School. Don't get. This is why I like what Deion Sanders has done for Jackson State.
Okay.
His name put Jackson State in the limelight because of who he is.
Yeah. Neon Deion.
Right. So if we can get a lot more famous athletes to become coaches after they retire, so they can bring the limelight to that university. So Neon Deion has done phenomenal things at Jackson, and he has them there pretty much because everybody knows about that black university.
So when you host one of these shows, right, everybody has a story about the nightmare show that happened. Did you ever have a nightmare show?
Wow, yeah.
All right, talk to me about it. What happened?
Well, when you go out, everybody, all the techs will tell you they're ready. So you go out. Sometimes I do a little jokes when I go out there, tell a little funnies.
Yes.
So, I go out, tell a little funnies, and I say, hey, coming to the stage, we're coming out next, and so on, so on, so on, so on. And then somebody said, no, I'm not ready. The sound guy in the front will say, because you can hear him through the monitors, I'm not ready. But back there, they said they were ready. So now you just did your opening, and now you're standing there waiting for them to tell you you're ready. So that makes you look like you're the idiot. Like you don't know what you're going on. But I always say, when things like that happen, I say, hey, that's showbiz. Things happen. Everything's not perfect, but we're going to get the show going, and let's have fun. But yeah, stuff like that is crazy. And then when, acts just sound horrible,
Have you had that happen?
Oh yeah, you were like, oh my God, what's going on tonight?
People appear on stage, should we say, under the influence?
Very under the influence, but you have to carry them off.
Is that right?
You know, so yeah, there's some stories. I can tell you a story with Major League Records. We had this group called Dime and Guns. It was a rap duo, male and female.
Yeah, okay.
We put out a CD called Longevity. We ended up getting a show down at Old Dominion University in Virginia. We opened up for this rapper called Mr. Cheeks, who was in a group called, I think they did this Lex Beamer's in the Benz song. But anyway, we're down in Virginia. The show went well. After party is at this particular club called Shadows. And, you know, the artists, you know, they get there, they put on a Tupac song, and the place just went crazy. Like, Tupac was, like, put a spell on people. Out their chest pumping, and I'm like, what the hell? This is crazy. You know, so I think Tupac had a big influence on people's minds.
Yeah.
To where they just went berserk. But, yeah, bad experience down there where, you know, your artists get too drunk and throwing up everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
You know, stuff like that. But yeah, there are some bad stuff out there.
So you have to roll with the flow.
You got to roll with the flow. You have to just keep going, you know, and hope that, you know, the people will forget that as you continue to do the show. You know, even when you host a show, you may say something, you were like saying to yourself, wow, did I just say that? You know, then you got to keep rolling with it, you know. Like the Mohegan show was so late, it was like, I think it was 20 minutes behind. So when you go out there, when it's late like that, the people are upset. So
Yeah,
they
the
don't really
audience,
wanna hear you.
they're already grumbling.
Right, they don't want to hear you, so you got to go out there and say, hey, this showbiz, that's how it is, but we're going to get the show going for you. Try to tell a few funnies, and then let the show go on, you know, and as the groups come out, then they do their thing. But yeah, definitely, when it's live, it's live.
That's right. Yeah.
It's all the way live. There's no taking back.
There's no taking it back.
Can't take it back and edit it or any of that.
Can't do it.
You gotta just go with it.
Have you done anything at the Oakdale down in Wallingford?
No, not the Oakdale.
Really?
No, they never called. Never had anything there, but Civic Center, of course the Convention Center, Mohegan, a lot of the little clubs around town, you know, stuff like that. I remember we used to do a reggae splash back in the 90s every Memorial Weekend at the last parking lot across from Bushnell Park. They would bring acts like Beanie Man, Tonto Metro and Devontae, Barrington Levy. It was a reggae thing, but they would bring rappers in too. It was beautiful. Outside, it's nice. You know, they don't do things like that anymore. I don't know what's happening with the music stuff, but things like that aren't happening anymore. You know, although we still have the Hartford Jazz Fest, which is great. You know, but we need to have more entertaining stuff in Hartford.
You know, I was going to ask you, is there like an annual thing in Hartford or Springfield or close by, like a funk festival or something?
Not yet, because I'm working on it.
All right, okay.
You know, there need to be a funk fest, but yes, but the funk fest was at Mohegan, you know, in 2020.
Okay.
You know, but there need to be an outdoor funk fest. And then people will see a funk fest, somebody will have a poster or a flyer with a funk fest, and they will have groups like, that's not funky. It'll be mainly R&B groups, but they'll call it a funk fest. You shouldn't do that. You know, a funk fest are funk bands, Barcades, Slave, Ohio Players, you know, Boosters Rubber Band, Graham Central Station, Parliament Funkadelic, you know, groups like that, Mandrill. Those are funk, you know, but they'll have other groups like The Deal or a Midnight Star. You know, they're from Ohio and they're funky, but they're not
They're funky, but they're not funk bands.
Right.
I'm going to throw some names at you. Tell me what you think of their impact on the music industry. Bill Smokey Robinson.
Great poet.
Ooh, America's greatest living poet.
Smokey is the reason why that I started to dabble in writing, you know, little lines of poetry. Because he was just, you know, if you would ever had a chance to read some of his songs.
Oh, I do.
And you see how he, you know, presents it, you're like, my God, you know, like the tears of a clown. You know, Smokey's great. He's a great songwriter.
Yeah, when I play his, as I said, I grew up in the Motown era, and I was always interested in the words,
right,
and how they conveyed. And Smokey caught my attention very early in my life because he would write lines like, although your love wasn't right for me, good for another it well may be. Some girls just aren't made for some guys. No, I got to make myself realize that my girl is gone.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
You just go, wow.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, that bam.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah. Exactly. So, right. If you can hear it, but when you actually read it,
yeah.
you know, it really, resonates on you like, wow, this cat is a genius. And he is a genius.
Yeah.
He's a genius.
Because I saw the documentary on Motown, and Barry Gordy and Smokey were there. Barry thought himself a very good songwriter.
Right.
Till he got Smokey. And then Smokey wrote, I will build you a castle with a tower so high till it reaches the moon. I'll gather melodies from birdies that fly and compose you a tune.
Yes.
Bring you loving warm as mama's oven. And if that don't do, I'll try something new.
Yes.
Come on, man.
Yes.
Come on, you got to let it go with that.
Definitely, he's definitely a great songwriter.
America's greatest living poet.
Yes.
Bill Smokey Robinson. Sam Cooke.
Another person that was just taken away from us too early.
Way too soon.
Sam Cooke was very important for Johnny Taylor, because Johnny Taylor was in Sam Cooke's camp. And Sam helped a lot of singers that most people don't know that was in Sam's camp.
You know, Sam Cooke was really the first Barry Gordy.
Of course.
That's where he was going.
Right.
You know, he wanted his own label, his own company, his own artists, and he wanted to appreciate African Americans in the industry.
In the music industry, exactly.
If you read about Sam Cooke, you will learn how advanced he was for his time.
Yes, exactly.
We lost a lot when we lost Sam Cooke.
Yeah, definitely.
Aretha Franklin.
Queen of Soul. Can't outdo her. Aretha has the utmost respect, not only for her singing ability, her aura. She's just the queen. You know, no one can top her. She's the best. I used to listen at her as a kid, her singing, phenomenal. Very good, and she lived across the street from Smokey.
Yeah, when she hit those notes, my goodness gracious, you know.
She's just great. I mean, it's like, how do you do that?
Yeah.
You know, where did that come from?
Yeah.
You know, sad that she passed, but definitely one of the greats.
I'm reading about another queen who was called queen before Aretha, Dinah Washington.
Oh, Dinah, yes.
Oh man, come on.
Yes.
Come on, you got to listen to Dinah sing.
And then, but you have to, Dinah was more on the jazzy side, and Aretha was more on the rock and roll side.
Yeah.
So Dinah Washington, of course. And you can hear some Dinah and a little Aretha. Because, you know.
Dinah paved the way.
Right.
Dinah paved the way.
She paved the way. Like a lot of people don't know Mary Wells.
Mary Wells, first successful Motown.
She's the one that paid for everybody recording sessions.
Yeah.
So she definitely should be a statue should be made of her right out there at Motown right now. So
tell the audience a couple of Mary Wells songs, you know? Remember?
My Guy.
My Guy.
Smokey Robinson.
Smokey Robinson.
You know, Beat You to the Punch.
Beat You to the Punch, you know, Smokey Robinson.
Yeah, Smokey Robinson. You know, yeah, my mother, back in Jersey, my mother used to listen to the Supremes, the Marvelettes, Mary Wells, Temptations, Jimmy Smith, a lot of the Hammond B3 stuff.
The Tops.
Yeah, the Four Tops, you know. So my mother was into the music, and I was really into it too. But, you know, like Motown would never really have credits. It would just say who's playing, you know, who's singing, and that's it, who produced, whatever. And then when they started, I think Marvin Gaye was the first album. I think it was What's Going On was the first album they put credits on. To actually who were the actual musicians. Because that was my thing. I was always interested in who arranged. You know, who did the horn arrangements, because it's crazy. You know, who arranged this music? Who wrote it? Who's playing on it? You know, and because I think that's important to know. Because you have guys out there that are just great in what they do. And you can tell, you can listen. Like, for instance, I'm so deep into Parliament Funkadelic, I can tell when Eddie Hazel is not in the band just by listening. Because of the things that he do with the guitar.
Yeah.
You know, just like you probably can tell when you listen to the Temps. You know, when Dennis is there and when David's not there.
Oh, yeah.
You can hear it.
You can hear it,
You know, but other people wouldn't pay it attention because they would think that Dennis is on I Wish It Would Rain.
Yeah.
If they hear it, but they don't know that it's David.
Yeah, no, that's Mr. Ruffin, as they
No
called
doubt.
him, Mr. Ruffin.
No doubt. The world's greatest lead singer.
Oh, Mr. Ruffin, wow. The Fifth Dimension. They came with a different sound.
They came with a different sound, and the Fifth Dimension came with the Not the Sweat. They were cool. You know, they wasn't hard. They were pop, but it was good music. You know, the Davis guy.
Billy Davis.
Billy Davis.
Marilyn McCoo.
You know, Let the Sun Shine. Great songs.
Yeah.
Great songs. Great band. Great group. You know, and I hope they're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They should be.
Yeah, I think they are.
You know, but Johnny Taylor's not, and he should be.
Johnny Taylor should be there.
Should be in there. Patti LaBelle and the Bluebells should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So a lot of them. Johnny Guitar Watson should be in there.
It's a real mother for you.
Real mother for you. A lot of them should be in there that aren't in there. So
Etta James.
Etta James, wow. Etta James. This is the same Etta James that played Catwoman, correct? On Batman?
No, that was
Eartha Kitt.
Eartha Kitt.
Eartha Kitt, okay. Etta James. Etta James did. What was that song she did? Oh my God.
At Last.
At Last. Yeah.
My man has come along.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was used to take care of an older gentleman back in the 90s.
Yeah.
And he used to tell me stuff about when I die, this is what I want you to do.
Yeah.
So he told me when he died, he wanted me to play At Last.
All right.
At his funeral, and I did. You know, I played the song Etta James At Last.
Phil Spector.
Phil Spector, my God, the Wall,
Wall
of Sound.
Yes.
You know, the Wall of Sound. He was a great producer. Great producer. Got into little troubles, but great producer. See, sometimes music people can be weird too. You know, they got a little weird side to them. That's why they're geniuses, because there's some type of chemical imbalance on real life stuff. But when it comes to the music, you can't touch them. You know, so yeah, Sly Stone. You know, those cats. They just are geniuses. But when you get into their heads, you're like, wow, you're crazy. James Brown, for instance, you know, the hard times that he went through, that he endured, to whereas right now, I don't think these kids today can go through what you and I went through growing up. Not alone James Brown.
Yeah.
You know, the hard times, you know.
Tina Turner.
Oh my God, Tina Turner. I used to watch her on TV with Ike. When I was a kid, they'd come on TV and I'm right there watching her because I always thought she was sexy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, yes, very good, very, very, very good, very flashy, high energy show, you know, yeah.
Did you ever have the pleasure of meeting Ike and Tina?
Never.
Oh man, that's too
Never.
bad.
I wish I could have, never. And I was kind of young when they were out.
Yeah.
But I never had a chance to meet Tina as, you know, when she just was Tina Turner. But yeah, loved her.
What about them Dells?
God, don't talk about the Dells, man. Them Chicago's finest
There you
right
go.
there. You know, the Dells didn't get their just due in the music business,
Yeah.
I'll tell you that. The Dells are great. Junior Marvin, it's great vocalist. You know,
Absolutely.
great vocalist. I mean, you don't see the music today, everyone sounds the same.
Stay in My Corner.
If you listen to those songs or those bands from back in those days, you knew who was who.
You did. Stay in My
In
Corner.
my corner, you know? Great song.
Always.
Always.
Oh, man.
I Can Sing a Rainbow.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
Yeah, come on when you get. What about Little Anthony and the Imperials?
They were kind of before my time, but I do know who they are, and I have listened to their music, and I've watched his.
Hurt So Bad.
Yeah.
Tears on My Pillow.
Tears on My Pillow.
Come on,
Pains
man.
on
You
my
can't.
heart.
You
Yeah.
can't touch that stuff.
Yeah, you can't.
No,
you can't,
no,
you know?
no.
And those were the early guys that paved the way for the people. Every generation is paving the way for the next.
You're standing on the shoulders, absolutely, of the people before you.
So, so you should take it, and because now these acts are making much money than those guys made back in those days.
Yeah.
You know, those guys were just getting ripped off.
Craig, before we close down, tell the audience one more time the name of your show, when you're on, and where you are on.
The name of the show is The World of Funk. WRTC 89.3 FM or WRTCFM.com. Every Wednesday, 12 noon to 3 p.m.
Thank you, Craig, for being here.
Yes,
it's
indeed.
Been a blast,
Thank you
buddy.
for having me.
Thank you. That's all the time we have for this edition of What's Your Story? I'm your host, James Ransom Reed Jr. Everybody has a story. What's yours? Until next time, good night.
Sometimes life just happens. Don't worry. Farmington Motorsports will get you back on the road and at a fair price. From towing to tires, emissions to transmissions.
Our ASC certified techs do it all.
Farmington Motorsports is a family-run business. We're Napa Auto Center and AAA approved. We work on all makes and models from preventative maintenance to major repairs.
And every repair is backed by our 2-year, 24,000-mile nationwide warranty.
When life happens to you, don't worry. Farmington Motorsports.